to be all I wanna be? When will I be good enough to live my life and be free? When will I dance till the morning lights up my day? Well, 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 well.
Here I am with Mary Anne Fitzgerald in Kenya. I begin with silence because I felt so strongly when I walked into Mary's home here that there is a real peace. There is no doubt there is a peace here. This beautiful courtyard that we're sitting in. And what I understand is that this is a representation of you, of your energy. It is, at the heart is peace. At the heart of you is peace. I know that, I can feel it, and it's beautiful because it's still, it's silent, it's unassuming. And you are one of the most beautiful people that I've met on the journeys around the world. Beautiful within, from this place of peace. And you're a stunning woman in so many ways. Beautiful vibrancy when I see you coming to the gates when we pull up. There you are, and radiant. You intrigue me. You intrigue me with so many facets to you. You're feisty as well as peaceful. You are a fighter. You are somebody who champions humanitarian causes, particularly for Africa. You're an authoress. What I wonder is why you are all that you are, and why you give so much to the world. That would be my first question. Why Mary Anne Fitzgerald?
Well, that's a hard act to follow, David, after all that. I've had a long journey, as you say, with a lot of trauma. I think there's no change without trauma, because we can't shift within ourselves without that great kick in the backside, let's say. But what I'm interested in is the trauma of other people, particularly children. I've done a lot of work in war zones and on the fringes of war zones. And when children and their families come out of a war zone as a refugee, as people who've been displaced, as is happening in many places around the world. And today, as we speak, it's Syria is the one that we all think of. People come forward, and hopefully, if they reach the right place, they'll get some shelter, maybe a tent. They'll get food, and they'll get water, and they'll get sanitation, maybe some medical treatment. But nobody has time, or maybe is aware of the trauma that's within these people. And if that's not treated, then these people are going to have problems carrying on in life, because nobody helps them to heal what's happened to them. And I've focused on children in my heart and in what I want to do, because children are vulnerable and we all love children and our hearts go out to them. But in fact, it's the family. And they are so incredibly brave kids. And they don't know that they've been traumatized. They don't know that there is a better way and that they shouldn't be treated like this. But they do help themselves, actually. For instance, I was in Darfur, in Western Darfur, where the fighting continues again as we speak today. They're being bombed. And I was in the Jebel Mountains, which is the seat of the rebellion at that time. And the Janjaweed, who are an armed militia who were killing and displacing the rebels and their families and the villagers and the farmers. And they had come to this village, and kids are asleep with their families. They wake up because they hear the sound of planes. And they run outside, and there are Antonovs that are dropping bombs on them. And where do you run to? Where do you hide? And while you're running around, helicopter gunships come in and follow them. They've been flushed out of their houses, and they gun them down. And this is followed by people in jeeps with guns mounted on the back, and armed men, people on horses, armed men on horses, and they come in and they shoot everybody who's still running around, and they set fire to the huts. So if you run back into your house, that's set on fire. Now the kids, when they hear this, as kids do in the Western world as well, I think, they think of school as being a safe place. Mm-hmm. So they run to school. In this particular village, the kids ran to school and they hid under their desks. And the armed men came in and they pulled these kids out and they lined them up against the wall and they shot them. And I saw the bullet holes. I know this happened, and I spoke to the kids who'd survived. And those kids now with their families ran deep into the mountains to be safe. But they would come every day to the school to be safe. And one boy I talked to walked 4 hours to get to school on his own through the mountains, 4 hours back again. He walked for 8 hours every day to be safe at school. And of course the real truth of it was the school wasn't safe. But so there's this yearning to be safe in all of us. And staying in Darfur, the humanitarian agencies in the UN, they have programs to treat women. They have programs to treat girls, women and girls. The men have been displaced, but the young boys are there in the displaced camps as well. And these boys, you'd be so proud to have one of them as a son. They're so strong, and when they are attacked, they don't run, they rush around, and they get all their family together, and they make sure that their mothers are okay, and that their sisters are okay, and their grannies and grandpas are okay, and they herd everybody out. They look after everybody and their boys. And then they walk with the family to make sure that everybody isn't lost. They get to a displaced camp, and here they are. They can't go to school anymore. They've saved their family, and they have all this anger inside them. And what's going to happen when they grow up? They are angry. They've seen their mothers and their sisters raped, which is the biggest affront. And they haven't been able to take revenge. And I put it to them. I talked to these boys, and I said, you have a choice. Would you rather go back to school and finish your studies so that you can work and look after your families? Or would you rather pick up a gun and take revenge on those people who killed and raped your family? And they didn't know what to say. They said, we want both. I said, you can't have both. And I pushed them till eventually they made a choice. And the choice for each one of those boys who you would have been proud to have as a son was to take the gun and kill the people who had killed their families. So you can see that the cycle of revenge continues. Now, if they'd had treatment for their trauma, they would have got rid of those angry feelings and they could have gone forward in the world. Now they are going to grow up as angry young men. And the girls who have been raped, how are they going to look after their children? They're going to be damaged women who don't know how to be proper mothers through no fault of their own. Now that is true trauma. That's what we need to look at in this world, not just our own trauma, but people who are deeply traumatized, but who are so brave and courageous, but they never even speak about it. It's to tell your story and to have somebody say it is okay to feel the way you do.